This program contains dramatic reenactments and material that may be disturbing to some audience members. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remote Utah Canyon. Disaster strikes. A hiker slips and falls 2 stories down a sheer rock face.
It felt like a bomb had just gone off.
How's it look?
His legs smashed,
You're gonna have to sit tight.
leaving him in agonizing pain.
I just refused to die.
His only hope is his brother.
It was scary walking away from Justin. I gotta save my brother.
As the injured brother waits alone hour after hour,
I started to wonder if he had died that night.
his younger brother faces agonies of his own.
I fell asleep and I woke up and I was on fire.
When one life depends on another, 2 brothers face the toughest challenges of their lives. Utah's San Rafael Swell. 2,000 square miles of spectacular panoramas. It's a remote, surreal, almost alien landscape. For eons, the relentless runoff has cut through this soft Coconino and Cedar Mesa sandstone and created a maze of deep slot canyons. The twisting canyons drop hundreds of feet below the surface of the mesa and meander for miles. Some are so narrow that a canyoneer, as these hikers are called, has to turn sideways to slip between the steep walls. It was the captivating serenity and the challenge of exploring the mysterious canyons that drew hikers Justin Harris and his younger brother Jeremy.
I always look forward to camping trips, hiking around, and just exploring the mountains and the beauty of the area that we have here.
Hey.
Hey, Justin, it's Jared.
How you doing?
Hey, so up for camping this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I think we'll go to Baptist Draw.
Justin and I did a lot of climbing and canyoneering.
It's about 7-8 mile stretch. And I'm gonna bring the rappel gear because we'll have to go down some pour-offs.
Oh, that'd be great. We've never been there.
We have to go this weekend before winter settles in.
Canyoneering in the desert has been somewhere to escape to and a place to connect.
In 2003, the 2 Utah natives were living on opposite ends of the state. For months, they had been talking about getting together for a weekend of hiking and climbing. Unfortunately, work schedules and family obligations confounded their efforts to reconnect, but the brothers kept trying.
We just couldn't put the weekend together until late November. And it was later than we wanted to go, but we knew if we didn't go that weekend, it wasn't gonna happen.
On a November Friday, the pair reunited in the south central part of Utah, at the edge of the San Rafael Swell.
This is absolutely beautiful, Jeremy.
It's nice.
How much farther do you think before we get there?
They drove 2 more hours through Goblin Valley and into the heart of canyon country to Baptist Draw and the mouth of Chute Canyon.
It's just a beautifully clean, pristine area. There's no telephones, there's no gas stations, there's no hospitals. It's miles to anything.
It's cold, man. Let's get that one by your foot.
Their plan was to camp at their truck Friday night, then Saturday morning, climb down into the canyon.
What time you want to go tomorrow?
I guess it depends if you want to stay next night.
Yeah? You got time?
They'd hike 8 or 9 miles straight out of the canyon, then circle back and return to the truck by Saturday night.
I was looking forward to it, exploring a new canyon and just having fun with my brother.
It was extra cold for November. The temperature was near freezing.
Holy cow. All right, here's my jacket.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Go down and around there.
Their trek started with an 80-foot rappel down into the canyon.
Whoa, you all right, buddy? Yep, I'm good. Good, got it.
Since they had rappelled down into the canyon, the only way out was to move forward. Jeremy's trail notes showed a narrow chute that led out of the canyon a few miles ahead.
The canyon was very narrow. If you can imagine standing next to a skyscraper and just putting your back to the building and looking up,
Look at this.
that's kind of what it was like, but you'd have another building in front of you too, right there.
All right, let's keep moving. All right, right
At
there.
points along the path, the brothers ran into sudden drops called pour-offs. Some dropped off dramatically, 20 to 30 feet at a time. There were also large boulders that jutted out,
Pretty tight.
called chokestones, that blocked their way, slowing their progress.
How's it look?
It's not easy hiking at all. It's very difficult and tough to scramble through those areas.
Far along are we?
Only got about a quarter of the way.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, let's get moving. We gotta get here before dark.
The temperature was dropping fast, and they knew they needed to be out by nightfall. They began to rush as Jeremy leaped down a drop-off.
Damn it!
He got soaked in an icy pool. Craig met up with Justin and Jeremy in Utah's canyon country and heard their story firsthand.
Jeremy hits the water, and he's now wet, and you guys are way in the backcountry.
Absolutely.
What were you thinking at that point?
We're already way behind.
Yeah.
It's way below freezing.
We gotta pick up the pace. We gotta get you back to camp. We'll get you warmed up.
Hiking out of the canyon and back to the truck as quickly as possible was now the top priority.
So Justin and I had picked up the pace. We came to another drop. This one was probably 25 feet.
What do you think? Should we drop a line?
No, we don't have time. We gotta down climb. Come on.
So I took the lead and climbed up over the top. And as I put my back towards the rock and started looking for handholds and places to put my feet and move down this rock, I lost my footing.
Jeremy grabbed Justin's hand, but felt him slip away. The crack of a breaking bone could be heard throughout the canyon.
It felt like a bomb had just gone off in my head.
I've never heard anyone scream in agony like that in my life.
Jeremy knew Justin was seriously hurt, but until he could get to him, he had no idea his brother's injury was life-threatening. Justin Harris and his younger brother Jeremy had finally gotten away for a weekend of canyoneering in south-central Utah.
We gotta down climb. Come on.
As Justin worked his way over a boulder, he lost his footing.
As Justin loses his footing and goes, he hits the ground, breaks his leg.
His left leg had been smashed by the impact against the rock. Justin's screams echoed through the canyon.
Talk to me, brother.
It's broken. I felt it snap.
Okay, I'm gonna look, okay?
Yeah.
Jeremy pulled up Justin's pant leg.
How's it look?
It's pretty swollen, man.
His left shin bone had multiple breaks and was rapidly swelling up.
You're gonna have to sit tight.
What neither brother knew was that the swelling was a sign of internal bleeding, which was life-threatening.
Carry me out?
There's no way I can carry you out of here.
What are we gonna do?
There was only one other option.
Still light out. I'll climb through, I'll get help, and I'll bring help back.
There's no way you can get out by dark.
Have to, okay?
They divvied up their food, leaving most of what little they had with Justin.
No.
You're gonna get cold, you're not moving. I'll be moving, okay? I'll be all right. I'm giving my best.
I don't need
You gotta
your
stay
best.
warm. You're sitting still, I'm moving.
All right.
I'll be moving.
Since Justin was wet and immobile, staying warm was critical in now below freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
Hypothermia and frostbite were very real threats.
You get cold, this is here, okay?
Okay.
Here we go, okay?
I love you.
Hold you.
We told each other that we loved each other, that we'd be strong and we'd be able to get out of this. I just told him, think happy thoughts, you'll be fine. But I remember him taking a few steps and going farther down the canyon from me, and then he went around this turn in the canyon, and he was gone.
Now Justin was alone in the frigid, dark canyon. He had no idea if he would survive his injury, or even if his little brother would survive the difficult solo trek for help. The brothers' happy reunion had become a horrible nightmare. A canyoneer's worst nightmare, slipping off a high ledge
Justin!
and shattering a leg. Justin Harris and his brother Jeremy were always close, but now Justin's life was in his brother's hands. Justin can't walk, so it's up to Jeremy to go it alone through 4 miles of a winding canyon in increasing darkness to get help. The plan was simple enough. Jeremy would hike out, return to their pickup, and call for help using the cell phone they had left in the truck.
We calculated that it would probably take him, another 4 to 8 hours to get out of the canyon, depending on how much more water, how many more obstacles there were, and then maybe another 4 or 6 hours for help to be contacted and come back and start trying to get to me.
Keeping warm was imperative, but next to impossible in the freezing temperatures. And then there was the internal bleeding Justin couldn't do anything about, causing his muscle compartments to swell, which were beginning to restrict blood flow to other parts of his body.
And if I could make it through the night, then I would have a really good chance of living and getting out of that canyon. And so that was my goal, that was my plan.
Jeremy hiked and climbed his way through the maze of boulders, chokestones, and pour-offs.
The canyon had been pretty dry so far. But right as I walked around the corner, it was pool after pool after pool after pool after pool. And so I'm swimming. It got between 10 and 15 below that night. So I was severely hypothermic and hallucinating as well. I was screaming at God, hoping someone would come and help me.
Justin, meanwhile, tried to stay warm. He flapped his arms, made windmills, whatever movements weren't too painful to keep his blood flowing. Hour after hour, he watched his leg blow up like a misshapen balloon.
So I pulled up my pant leg and I looked at my leg to see what was going on there. And I noticed that there were these big blisters all over my leg, and they were popping, and there was sort of a yellowish fluid that was coming out of those blisters and running down my leg, and I knew it wasn't a good sign.
Exhausted from hiking and fighting off the cold, Jeremy made steady progress on his way out of the canyon. Until he realized he was in real trouble.
I had a pocket that my trail notes were in, and the pool that I went through, the trail notes washed out, so I was kind of like winging it. So I continued down the canyon. I went down 5 different pour-offs and got to one pour-off that was about, probably 60 feet down. I realized I'm in the wrong place. And I need to go back up canyon.
He didn't remember a drop that high on his trail notes. Jeremy had gone too far. He must have walked past the turn that would have led out of the canyon. But where? How long ago did he pass the turn? Jeremy had no choice but to backtrack to find the path. His mistake would waste valuable time and exhaust what little energy he had left to save his brother. While down climbing a high ledge, Justin Harris slipped and shattered his leg. So his brother Jeremy went for help. On the verge of hypothermia, after hours of hiking, Jeremy had lost his way in the dark as he searched for the exit out of the deep Utah Canyon. At stake was his brother's life. Now he had to backtrack up the canyon, costing him precious hours, in order to hopefully recognize the right turn.
So 5 different pour-offs I had to climb back up. One took me many attempts. Gave up. Try again. It took me like several hours to get back up.
As Jeremy retraced his steps in search of the path that he had missed, Justin's condition became grave.
In the middle of the night, it was so cold that I felt like my skin was freezing, and I started thinking about, frostbite, and I need to do something else to warm my body up. So I would try to do some arm circles. I would try to move my good leg, eat a little bit, anything that I could do to warm myself up.
The freezing temperatures and soaking wet clothes were getting to be too much for Jeremy.
All that was in my mind was save my brother. I gotta save my brother. And so it was really hard to take a break, but I had to warm up. It was so cold that I had to lay like right in to the fire, and I fell asleep, and I woke up and I was on fire.
He beat out the fire, dried his boots, and resumed the frustrating search for a way out of the canyon.
I had no water at all. I put snow into my water bottle and kept it under my armpit to try and melt it. But that didn't work at all. It was just one thing after another.
Justin made it through the long, cold night. Sunday morning brought warmer temperatures and a bit of relief. But as the hours went by, hope for a prompt rescue faded.